Ahead of him is Robert Schwartzman, who will try and defend that inside line. We've got 5 red lights. The lights go out. Let's go racing. All the cars bar one get away, and the one that did not get away and has been really clattered into, I am convinced, is the Red Bull liveried car. So for sure that will mean that the race will be, I was going to say, brought under the safety car, but more than that, I'm convinced it's Hingley that got caught out there, who seemingly bolted at the start and then got collected. And no, it's of course it's the car of Daniel Ticktum. And Daniel Ticktum thankfully is out of the car and he's perfectly okay. So Dan Ticktum then with huge damage on the car right on the start was just driven straight into, because seemingly he failed to get away at the start. And there you can see that also caught up in that was Jonathan, I am sure. So the doctor attending straight away to Dan Ticktum, but seems to be okay. Grazia Troncon from the Prema Theodore team then on the radio sent a picture, as you can see. You can see just how the impact really did destroy the number 27 car of Daniel Ticktum. Of course, the cars have extraordinary safety integrity, and thank goodness for that. So the car we think that we saw at the runoff area, or sorry, just inside the turn at turn 1, is Robert Schwartzman, who was the pole sitter. So he's stranded somewhere on the track now, certainly not as a result of this collision, because he was right at the start of the pack, right at the front of the grid. So all the information that we have at the moment is, and we can see it for ourselves, that Daniel Ticktum is okay. And there is our pole-sitting driver, Robert Schwartzman, who's out of the race. Had taken that pole position. So the race has been red flagged. So that's the Schwartzman car about to be recovered. And quite a lot of debris spread all over the track, right on the start-finish straight, following that collision right at the very start. So race suspended, clock stop. Well, it hasn't stopped at the moment, but it will stop and will be reset. So thankfully we can see all the drivers walking away relatively unaided, which is of course what we always want to see. And then there is the number 27 car, which Motor Park driver Daniel Ticktum, who, as you can see, is okay. The car, however, extremely damaged. Now, being told that the restart will be behind the safety car. We don't have a time for the restart of the race yet, as we can see the Robert Schwartzman car being collected and recovered now. Right, let's try and see exactly what happened here. So this the first replay we've had. So the first 2 cars avoid the stricken Daniel Ticktum, but then it's one of the cars from the very back of the grid that perhaps unsighted, although by dint of the fact all the other cars had moved. Goodness me. pretty sure from that replay it was a Maya Vadyanathan. Try and pick it up again from here. Colossal impact and destroying both of the cars, but Dicton was just sitting there, and Vadyanathan, look what is well, the complete front of the car has been destroyed. So that's where Robert Schwartzman got squeezed out and made contact with the barriers, and then had to bring the car on the exit of turn 2 at Grundig. There, as you can see, just at the start of turn 3, that's where Schwartzman abandoned the car, and it would take no further part. Squeezed there by Inem Ahmed, and Schwartzman up against the barriers, causing damage to the car, and that meant that the Schwartzman car would be retired, unfortunately. So there we're getting the replays of the two completely separate incidents. And that's always good to see, the crowd applauding the drivers involved in that crash getting out of the cars, and Maya Vadyanathan then out as well. And this is the Robert Schwartzman car, the pole sitter, who regrettably will not be continuing in the race. So the cars that we've lost then are Maya Vadyanathan, Dan Ticktum and Robert Schwartzman. Just struggling to... the sight of Mick Schumacher there looking on. What I'm trying to square in my mind is Maya Vadyanathan, who, you know, several cars had avoided the stricken Dan Ticktum car, but Vadyanathan just